Grandia on the PlayStation 1. This is actually a research stream of a game that I want to say I've gotten most of the way through. I never beat it. I pretty much just kind of gave up on it after about 40 hours. Which isn't to say I didn't like it, but it's a game that I remember a lot about back in the late 1990s, early 2000s, because apparently it was one of the Sega Saturn's last hurrahs, if you will. And it was apparently one of the better Saturn games that ever got released. But the PlayStation ultimately wound up getting its own conversion, which is the version I played. After playing, Final Fantasy Tactics and Vagrant Story and all the other PS1 games that I liked. But I gave this one a chance because I was still reasonably interested in traditional JRPGs back then. We're going to start out with some combat so that you can see, because frankly the first hour of the game is kind of boring anyway. I mean, it's all cutscenes. The story actually isn't bad in this game so far, but we're going to have to get to the interesting stuff a bit later. So we'll see how it goes. Actually, we're going to do the interesting stuff first and then get to the flashback where we explain how we got to this point. So let's pretend we've just run into our hero. Let's pretend that our hero just arrived here out of nowhere. We're starting in Medias Res, I guess you could say. In fact, I'm going to show you how I got here. Marna Road. This is where we start the game. This overworld is not... You do not have to walk around in this overworld. So it's basically you're jumping from dungeon to dungeon. Which I actually prefer, to be honest with you. What's the point of... I mean, it's like you remember playing Chrono Trigger. What was the point of even having an overworld in that game? You didn't run into any enemies in it. Well, this is a game that at least lets you bum around in these dungeons. But you don't have to worry about blind encounters in the overworld, so that's good. This is a save point. You can save your game here. You can recover here for free, apparently. There are also hints. For instance, this explains how monster encounters work. Again, this game has Star Ocean-like combat in that. Star Ocean-like dungeon exploring. That you wander around these dungeons, you can run into enemies, you can avoid them if you want. But the idea is that you are able to initiate combat with enemies. There are no blind encounters in this game. Monster shining red is not shining red, has not seen you yet. If you catch a monster before you are seen, you have the initiative. Try approaching from out of view. You may also be ambushed and have an advantage if a monster touches an ally by having back. So basically, if an enemy sees you and they're flashing red and it touches one of you from behind, yeah, it's going to initiate. We'll explain how that works in a second. I'm going to have to do a separate video where I explain the combat, I guess. But I did want to at least show you the basics of combat. We'll stick close to the recharge point. Oh, look at that. Oh, wait! Gree gonna get you. This is a traditional combat. This is a traditional combat sequence. Don't worry about it. Okay. It's turn-based, so don't worry about that. On the bottom right-hand corner of the screen is a meter that you're going to want to pay attention to. The bottom right-hand corner of the screen shows the order in which the flow of this turn-based combat will take place. Justin is my hero, my main character. He's flashing, so his turn is coming up next. You see where it says ACT to the right of his little icon there that's flashing? That means that as soon as he's ready to perform the action, that COM marker right there on the meter right there on the bottom below his name, that means he's the next person who's getting ready to attack. When he performs an action, that ACT meter will be not depleted. His icon will move a bit over to the right, and then once he reaches the end of that ACT meter, that means he will actually perform the action. So the only thing you really need to know is that at this point, this flashing character is going to perform an action, and then he will begin his wind up. And then once his icon on the meter reaches the end of the meter, he will actually perform that action. He can be interrupted. That's actually one of the things about this game that's kind of interesting. It's not real time. But if you compare it to a game like Final Fantasy Tactics, the speed in which your character performs an action determines the wind-up, which determines who goes next, which, like I said, determines the wind-up on that ACT meter, which determines if you can get the attack off before the enemy attacks you. We'll get into more detail about that later. To the left of me on that meter is my companion, Sue. She's a kid, don't worry about it. She will be coming up next, most likely. Because remember, every character in this battle has a value, and I believe it's some kind of speed value, some kind of speed value that determines how quickly their turn comes up. So that meter gives you some general idea about who's coming up next, but the speed value determines who comes up next on that meter. Basically determines how quickly they recharge, how quickly they're stuck, how long they're stuck in this wait state over there on the bottom of the meter. Now, we're just gonna do a regular attack because the two enemies there aren't, their turn won't be coming up yet. We'll stick to the basics for now. They're gonna get a bit more sophisticated in the strategy a bit later. Combo, critical, defend, look. If I can look at these enemies. So you can look at these enemies, see what their HP is. It's right there on the bottom of the screen. Oh, you can also see... Oh, we can see ourselves, too. That's good to know. So I can press up and down to switch between us and them. So I press down to switch to us. Down again to switch to them. Left and right on the D-pad to switch between the enemies. Press up or down to switch between the allies and the enemies. Press left or right on the D-pad to switch between the two characters. Okay, so... She's next. Sue's next. She's in standby mode. So again, Justin's ready to enter command. Sue is in standby mode. Her turn is not up yet. Look. Let's press up. So those are the two Marna bugs we're going to face. They have 18 hit points. Again, they're also in standby mode. What's important is that you can see right there on the bottom of the meter, this enemy here is going to attack before this one does. Because this one's marked item. This one's marked enemy B. This one's marked enemy A. So that gives you some idea of how you want to strategize. Who do I attack first? We'll determine that in a second. We're not going to escape. Tactics. Play fair. Back out. We don't have any items we want to use. Moves and magic. We'll get to that later. Attack enemy with a V-shaped slash. I want to say this game has a... farming system whereby the more often you use a specific move, the more proficient you become in using that move. I know that's true in this game's sort of sequel, Grandia Extreme. So I'll get my... This is a research stream anyway, so I'm trying to refresh my memory, because unfortunately, when I bought this game, it didn't come with a manual, but you know, back in the day, you just read FAQs anyway. I'm just trying to refresh my memory about how the combat flow works. We'll do a regular combo attack, which means you get to attack the enemy twice. And the enemy, and watch, by the way, when I attack this B enemy right here, who's the first one to come up, watch what happens to his meter once I make contact with him. Okay, her turn's coming up next. Let's see, we'll use a regular combo attack on the person in the back, the enemy in the back, enemy A. So Justin's getting ready to strike. See right there on the bottom of the screen? Justin's at the end of the meter right there, on the far right side of the meter. So he's getting ready to strike. He's at the end of his wind-up period. So enemy B is going to take a shot right to the head. We'll see how that goes. Again, check out the meter on the bottom of the screen right there for the flashing enemy B to find out what happens once Justin makes contact. There he goes. And A went down too. So we wiped him out in one turn.
Pretty easy, right, Puppy?
Yes, it was easy, Puffy. Pikachu. This game did precede Pokemon, right? 1997 in Japan. Apparently this game only came out on the Sega Saturn in Japan. It never made it to the States. There's probably another reason why people were so mad at Sega, but that's another issue entirely. Okay, so I got to use my regular attack. So let's go to the... press the triangle button. This menu's kind of slow. There we go. Okay. We don't have any items really worth worrying about. I'll just show you what's here. Oh, we do have some first aid stuff. Wait, is someone carrying the pot lid? I guess I can give those to other people. I guess no one can carry that stuff. Yeah, we all have armor of a sort, I guess. I can press L1 and R1 to switch between the two characters. Justin's already at level 2, really? I wonder when that happened. Must have started out the game at level 2. And don't get too attached to Sue. Spoiler alert. Don't get too attached to her. Don't worry, she won't die or anything. At least not that I'm aware of. I don't think I made it far enough to know if she died. But like I said, don't get too attached to her. Let's see. Nothing to see there. Quip. Justin. Again, press L2, L1 and R1 to switch between the two characters. These stats aren't really that important. Move. I want to say move matters, or is it act? See right there on the right-hand side of the screen? There's an attack value that says 17, an act value that says 20, move says 50. I want to say act determines how quickly their turn comes up. Like, basically, there's a pip. But if you treat the meter as a pip, every pip on the meter determines how many pips on the attack meter you advance. For instance, that 20 means that, I want to say it means that Justin goes up 20 pips on that attack meter while he's in a wait state. Sue goes up 18 per pip. So I want to say that every second or every half second or whatever, that determines how far along the meter she goes. So if both of these characters start at the same point, like if they both start at level 0 on that meter, I want to say that Justin's turn comes up more quickly than Sue's does. But we'll go back and check the manual once I can go online and find something I can read about that. Magic. Justin has no magic, but he does have skills. See the top of the screen, level 1, 2, 3, S. We'll use this in the next battle. Again, if there's a farm system in place, he's gaining experience as he uses that slash attack. It uses 14 of his 26 skill points, so we can't use it too often right now. What's worth noting right there on the bottom of the screen on the left-hand side, where you see it says level 1, level 1. It says level 1 experience 0, that's my sword. Level 1 experience 10, that is my regular weapon. I'm carrying a wood pole, I'll show you that in a second. I also have an axe. But because I used this weapon in the fight, I gained proficiency in that weapon because I actually used an attack with that weapon. So I'll go back a second, I'll show you that. Equip. See that weapon he has right there? It's a wood pole. Oh, I can actually switch between a wood pole and a wood sword. That's good to know, actually. Wait, really? Yeah, you can switch between it. Oh, I didn't know that. I learned something new. Okay, so before I change weapons, let me just mention this. Oh, she can switch weapons. She can switch armor, too. That's good to know. Okay, so I didn't know that the first time I played this game. At least a couple of minutes ago when I was practicing before I started recording. Magic. So let's check out his skills. So this skill uses his wooden club, I want to say. So if that's true, does that mean if I can switch to a different weapon? Because remember, I used a regular attack using that wood pole. It was a blunt weapon, not a sharp weapon. So this blunt weapon used... I got 10 experience points by defeating my enemy with that blunt weapon. Which is cute. I guess that explains what's going on with Sue right here, too. She used her arrow during that last fight. So she gained 10 experience points by defeating that enemy with that arrow. These skills count as archer and bow skills. Archer skills, basically. So if you use either of these attacks, you will gain experience in that archer skill. She also has a blunt weapon, apparently, but I haven't seen it yet. I'll see if I can set her up with one of those. Justin's V-slash skill here uses a blunt weapon skill. So if he were to use this skill, he would gain experience in the blunt skill. You know, hitting blunts and stuff, I guess. But what I want to figure out is... Yeah, we'll figure out this other stuff later. What I want to... Yep, see, here it is right here. The V-slash skill... I thought it was supposed to be a blunt skill. Oh, because it's based on the weapon he's carrying? Is that what's going on? Level up parameters. I have to look at that later. That's going to be interesting. When his sword weapon skill or his sharp weapon skill reaches level 6, and when his blunt weapon skill reaches level 4, he'll learn a new skill. See right there underneath V-slash? He's obviously level 1 already in slashing ability. But when he reaches level 6 in that skill, and level 4 in blunt weapon skills, then he'll learn a new skill. So that's a good excuse to farm these two. That's a good reason to farm your proficiency in each weapon skill. Because you get to learn something new. And I remember doing a lot of grinding when I played this game on launch, so I guess I'm not surprised. Okay, check out Sue's moves. Okay, so she has the puffy kick, the poofy kick. Poofy kick. Again, a level 1 in archer skill means that puffy kick is available. A level 1 in blunt weapon skills and archer skills means the rah-rah skill is available. When I reach level 7 in blunt weapon skills, that means I'll learn a new skill. That's probably a reason for me to switch to another weapon, but of course, I don't know how good she is. I don't know how good her attacking skills are with that blunt weapon. We can practice that later. Let's check out the status. L1 and R1, again, to switch between characters. Let's see. Agility. Oh, her experience is about to go up. No, she only has 2 experience. Really? So I guess Justin must have started out pretty high then. Weapon, magics, we can see their blunt and archer skills. Okay, that's fine. So we can see their... Okay, that's fine. So we'll change a few things in a second. Let's see, we'll go one step at a time, won't we? So I'm gonna upgrade his pole to a sword. So we're gonna have sharp, we're gonna increase our proficiency in sharp weapon skills. It's equal. That's weaker. That's weaker. There's no reason for me to use that crap. Switch. Wood pole. She can use a wood pole. Okay. Equal. It's equal in strength, but it means that she can increase her proficiency in that weapon. Same. Same. Weaker. Nothing. Okay. So now she has a pole instead. He can't use the bow and arrow apparently. Okay, so either character can use the wood pole, but Justin can't use the archer ability. Let me try something. Switch. Okay, already established that. Okay, yeah, let's get back to that. Okay, can he use the sword is the question. She can't use the sword, so that's been established. Okay. So we're fine there. We don't want to trade, do we? I guess we could trade weapons like that, I suppose, but she can't use the swords. That's not any good. Alright. I'm practicing. It's a research stream. Magic. We've already established that. So what happens when I start using these weapons? Oh, okay, so now that I'm carrying a sword, this V-slash skill is no longer a blunt skill. It's a slash skill. So that makes sense. So if I were carrying the wood pole, this V-slash skill would increase my proficiency in the blunt weapon skill set. But because I'm carrying a sword now, it's going to instead increase my proficiency with the sword. Sharp weapons. I'm carrying a... Okay, see this right here? See, yeah, this was an archer skill when I was carrying the bow and arrow, but now that I'm carrying a wood pole, using either of these skills will increase my proficiency in blunt weapons. Which is weird. Okay, well, I'm learning something new. That's why I make these research streams, to get down to the brass tacks a bit. Whoop, that enemy just completely respawned and snuck up on me, didn't it? Yeah, the music is a lot better when you get ambushed. This music's awesome. It's the incomplete version of this song because in the soundtrack, there's a second verse and a bridge and all that. This is the abbreviated version of that song. Consider the soundtrack version to be an arrangement, I guess. Okay, things get a bit more interesting here. He's been ambushed. That means the enemy was able to get the initiative on this fight, which means they're going to act before we can. Now, my turn's coming up next, so this is going to be interesting. I might be able to cancel one of their attacks if I can attack them before they make contact with me. There is a counter and a cancel system in this game. What I want to say is that if I use a regular combo attack on one of these bugs, then I can counter their attack, but they might still be able to follow up. If I get a critical off, it's possible for me to completely cancel their turn by basically hitting them with a critical before they can make contact with me. So they're in the middle of the act phase. If I hit them with a critical, I want to see that will cancel their attack completely. This is going to be risky, so for now I'll stick to the basics with a combo. See if I can counter their move. So I'm going to hit one of these enemies, I'm going to see if I can make contact with them. I'm going to go after enemy B. They're both attacking at the same time anyway. Okay, is she going to be able to get it off? Probably not. Let's try. We're going to attack enemy A with a critical. See what happens. Got him. That was not a counter. Oh, he countered me. He countered me. So I got temporarily stunned, but I'm still able to get my attack off. So I'm still able to get my critical off. Now, I'm going to do a critical. I'm probably going to kill the enemy in this turn, so watch what happens to his meter on the bottom of the screen right there. See enemy A? He's still in the wait state. When I hit him with a critical, watch what happens to his icon. Does it stop, or does it get completely reset? It's probably going to die anyways, or whatever. Again, combos hit twice, criticals hit once, but you might be able to reset their meter. I forget what the distinction is. If I had a manual, I'd be able to tell you. That's why I'm doing this research stream on my own. You know how it is. It's a research stream. It's going to be a half-hour video. It might not be, but... We'll finish up the video with some, you know, wandering around with the storytelling sequences. Like I said, there's like there's like a half hour of unskippable cutscenes in this game when you first start out. So we're gonna skip all that and just go to the town, because then we have to basically do a fetch quest, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, it's a terrible way to start a game like this, by the way. Get you off on the wrong foot. Okay, I'm gonna do a critical on enemy A. Watch what happens to that icon for enemy A once I make contact with him with this critical. He's not gonna die, I don't think, but we'll see what happens. We'll hit enemy B with a critical too. Let's see what happens. So watch enemy A. That's just gonna attack him. Wiped him out. Okay, so enemy B was stunned, and you saw what happened to the meter down there. While the enemy was stunned, Justin's turn zoomed right past his. So the bug, enemy B, was supposed to go next, but because I hit him with that critical, he got completely stunned. Now, apparently the way the cancel system works is that if you get off a critical while an enemy is in the act phase, like at the far right side of the meter when he's winding up, I would want to say if you hit him with a critical while he's winding up, you can cancel his attack. Again, it's timing based. That's where the strategy comes in, because despite the fact that this is a turn-based game, this real timey element is part of the equation, because you're always trying to figure out, okay, will I be able to get this attack off before the enemy can attack? Sometimes that's a legitimate consideration, because it means you'll prevent the enemy from getting an extra hit on you. Now, you probably shouldn't pay attention to all the nonsense as far as the scaling and stuff. I'll show you I'll complain about the scaling in a second when we get to the next part of the combat, because one of the problems I had with this game was that the combat is interesting, but I'm not wild about the game's look. This is obviously a PS1 era game that's converted from the Saturn, obviously, so it wasn't going to look that great. It was a 2D game, but it uses 3D backgrounds, and it uses a lot of weird sprite scaling and a lot of sprite rotation, kind of like a Neo Geo game. But the sprite scaling isn't particularly good. So the camera is constantly zooming in and out in a very distracting way, and really all it really does is it's a really bizarre way to try to punch up what is a traditional turn-based menu-driven combat system. This is not real time, really. But they use all this, you know, camera zooming, whooshing, not Michael Bay nonsense, I guess, to kind of punch it up, make it look a bit more visually interesting. Not really wild about it, but like I said, it goes with the territory. It makes the game feel less stale when you're in combat, I guess you could say. Okay, we're gonna do regular attacks on these two enemies. The game implied that attacking the enemy in the rear is better, I guess because you can double up. I guess because you can use AoE attacks and attack multiple enemies at once, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Remember, she doesn't have her bow and arrow. She's using... Whoop! Did he get behind me? Ow. He got behind me. Let's use a special attack, then. We haven't done one of those yet. Moves and magic. We don't really need this. Let's just see what happens. We can run back to the save point and recharge our SP meter. Attack one enemy with a V-shaped slash. Actually, we haven't done this yet. Before I do this, let me go to the menu, and then I'll show you the V-shaped slash. So I want you to see how the experience system works. So I probably should have done this before probably should have gone to the menu before I did the other two fights. So we'll go to the menu and see how much progress we've made. We've had a couple of fights. Not getting much experience, obviously. Old school RPGs, you gotta grind a little bit, but at least you're learning the combat. You're learning the timing of all the weapons and such. Okay, you know, the timing of all the attacks. Status. Okay, 40 experience with the sharp weapons, 10 experience with the blunt weapons. based on how many enemies we've killed. I don't know if it's based on actually just striking the enemies or actually destroying them. Like, if you get a hit on them but don't kill them, do you get experience? That's an interesting question. Sue. Well, I guess she hasn't been able to do much. So I guess you do only get experience by actually killing enemies. She's been getting a few hits on them, but she hasn't been killing them outright. So I guess you only get the experience if you kill the enemies. But she's gaining proficiency anyway. She's just not gaining as much as Justin, because Justin's getting the final strikes. He's wiping out the enemies. She's just whittling them down. Now, let's see. Experience. Not a lot of other experience to look at. Let's check the, let's see the moves list. Okay, so again, it'll be a while before these guys get strong enough to do anything. I guess it's a good excuse for her to build up her blunt skills. But if Justin's going to wipe everybody out before she can... If Justin's going to wipe everybody out before she even gets a chance, then that's going to be a problem. She might have to use special attacks to wipe out enemies. And of course, special attacks actually increase her proficiency in that weapon, remember? Magic. See, that's going to increase her blunt skill. If she kills an enemy with that special attack, she'll get that. Because she's not strong enough to kill an enemy in one swipe the way Justin can. He's not at this point in the game. Okay, let's go back to the save point here. We'll get a recharge. We don't really need it. Actually, I don't need a recharge yet. But this will be my chance to actually show you the special attack system. I think we got surrounded. Yes, this is a regular. Yeah, my initiative. Wow, okay. We got him. So that means we get to go way first. Okay. So we gotta wipe out a couple of these enemies first. Let's do that. Okay, moves and magic. So proficiency here isn't really based on the skill. It's based on the proficiency of the weapon. You need to learn the skill. So if I kill an enemy with this puffy kick, I want to say that star determines proficiency. She also has the ability to heal party members by cheering, but that uses up way too much SP at this point in the game. Press L and R to switch between the different magic levels, but we don't have any other kinds of magic we can do at this point. So basically all we have are moves, which is fine. Poofy kick. Attack one enemy by throwing Poofy at him. I thought his name was Puffy. Well, the first enemy the first enemy in the list, the one that's ahead of all the others, is this guy in the back. So we'll throw Puffy back there. It's called Puffy kick, not Poofy kick. See up there in the top right-hand corner of the screen? It's called Puffy kick. So we'll throw Puffy at him. Puffy, sick balls. See? It's very adorable. And the enemy's down, so so Sue gained some proficiency with her blunt weapons. And we can't really see anything. We can't see anything else about her, can we? Let me check on something. Okay, so we can't really look. We can't really look at any of her skills at this point, but that's okay. The next enemy up is this guy in the front. Okay, so Justin, you're gonna wipe him out, aren't you? You can wipe him out in one strike. Let's do this thing. Take out the dude in front. Again, we'll increase his sword skills with that. See, he took out, by doing the combo, he was able to attack 2 enemies instead of just 1. If he used the critical instead, like if he chose the critical, what would have happened is he would have only taken 1 swipe instead of 2. Which means he would have just wiped out 1 enemy and left the other 2 alive. But by attacking with a combo, he was able to wipe out the first enemy with the first strike, then wipe out the second enemy with a second strike. So in that case, it was totally worth it. Now, Sue's in an interesting situation. She might be able to attack this enemy, because see right there, that bug's about to get us. That bug right there, he's in the attack phase. He might be able to reach Justin before, yeah, he might be able to reach Justin. But I might be able to intercept him. Let's see if I can intercept him. With a Puffy strike. Is it instantaneous? Yes, it is! Well, it's almost instantaneous. But I was able to intercept him. That's going to count as a cancel, right? That's a counter, not a cancel, but he's wiped out anyway. So I was able to interrupt his attack before he was able to strike Justin. So again, that's the kind of, you know, strategic element that you probably wouldn't see in most turn-based RPGs, most menu-based RPGs. Because you gotta take into consideration what might happen if an enemy strikes before you can get your attack off. But maybe some attacks have a slower wind-up than others. And I want to say that attack that I just did, that Puffy kick attack, had a slower wind-up. Now you can see right here, Justin killed 2. I thought Justin killed 2 of the enemies. Well, Sue killed 2 enemies, and so did Justin. So here, her weapon skill went up more than his did, but she used a special attack. Is that why? But anyway, I told you basically what's going on. So her skill's up to 30 now with that particular weapon. With her blunt weapon, she is now at level 30. She has 30 experience points with that weapon. Justin's sword skill is now at level 50, because he gained 10 points during that fight. Again, he killed 2 enemies in 1 strike with that weapon, but he only got 10 experience points. She killed 2 enemies with 2 different attacks. She did the puffy strike one time. She did the puffy strike twice on 2 different enemies. So is that why her skill went up more? I don't know. This is a research stream. An FAQ might clear that up. Okay, here's the Magna Centipede or whatever. I thought I saw a centipede wandering around my TV screen a second ago. Oh well. Okay, what's next? These guys, I can wipe these guys out with. Yeah, Justin will just wipe them out in one fell swoop. He can take them both on, I think. Not sure how strong these. Let me see how strong these centipedes are. 32. He might be able to take out one of them. So that means she should probably use her puffy attack. Oh, she's out of SP, so we're gonna have to recharge before we can do that again. Well, I'll have her use a critical, why not? She can't wipe out enemies with a critical, though. I mean, she can combo one of these enemies. Well, if Justin doesn't wipe out the centipede, she'll finish him off. Nope, he will. Okay, so she automatically switched to the next enemy, okay. Uh-oh. This is going to be interesting. Can I get it off? Of course, the other question is, if I do this move, is it instantaneous? The other question is, if I get attacked in the middle of this, do I waste SP? Like, do I only use the SP if I get the attack off? Or if the attack gets canceled, do I lose the SP? Let's find out. V-slash. Nope! He got me. But I didn't get the attack wasn't canceled. So we're in good shape in that sense. She's very weak. She was able to take off half his HP, though. Justin's turn is... Yeah, he had a bit of a wind-up on that. But that'll wipe out the enemy for sure. Yeah, that wiped him out. So we gotta recharge Sue's SP. I want to make her a bit more useful. So we're grinding a bit. Okay, so she got 15 skill points because she did... What, she did 2 combo attacks. But she didn't kill any enemies. And we killed 2 enemies by himself. With 2 different... With a combo attack, he killed 1 enemy. Then with a special attack, he killed the second one. Yeah, see if I can make sense of this. Now I'll have experience, of course. That would, you don't play with a manual. I want to say this game's not that complicated, but there are a few things you have to keep in mind. Recover. Okay. So we'll do a couple more fights. Let me check out the menu. Then we'll go over the story-based part of this game. I was expecting to do an hour video of this, but I spent a bunch of time blabbing about the combat systems. I'm trying to refresh my memory about how it works. Okay, so he'll go up to level 2 with sword skills pretty soon. She's gonna need a lot more blunt skill. But we're gonna make her useful we're gonna make her useful as we can at this point in the game. Yeah, no magic yet, just skills. Status. Yeah, nothing really to see here. Let's go to the not that. Moves. So again, he's gonna need a lot more sword practice. So I'll let Sue practice with this blunt weapon, because at some point that's the next skill she's gonna learn, is with that wood pole. I'm gonna have to buy her another weapon just so she can practice. But yeah, we'll just let him build up his sword skill so we can get to level 6 more quickly. Again, I gotta grind. I don't have to grind. I'm just used to grinding. Just to see what happens. It might not even be a useful skill, but the game's giving you that carrot, telling you if you want this skill, whatever skill it is, if you want it, you gotta go up to level 6 in swords. You gotta go up to level 6 with your sword and level 4 with your club. That's how it works. Okay, let's see if we can cancel one of these guys. We're gonna use some critical attacks to try and wipe these dudes out. Yeah, she might be able to... Are these centipedes? I wasn't even paying attention. These are centipedes. Yeah, she won't be able to kill them. But she can use her special attack to kill one of them, I think. Who's next? Puffy Kick. Well, they're both the same. So I'll have her throw her... She'll throw Puffy at the dude in the back. Bit of a wind-up. And Justin can combo beat the other enemy to wipe him out. This should wipe out the mob. Puffy Kick. This will wipe out the dude in the back, I think. Does it do 21 damage or 32 damage? I mean, 32, darn it, wasn't strong enough. Uh-oh. This could be interesting. Let's see if I can get a Puffy attack. Actually, I won't be able to do it. Who's he going to attack? I don't know who he's going to attack. Let's just assume it's him. Should I do a combo or a critical? Let's do a critical. Cancel the attack. Nope, too much of a wind-up. And she's stunned. She'll still get it off, though, but she's still stunned. And he can just do a regular attack. Yep, down he goes. So she gets the experience for this fight. Although I think, yeah, he got a fight. He got an attack off, right? Yeah, he did. He wiped out one of the enemies. Yeah, so she got points for that. So I'm going to have to keep track of what happens when you don't kill an enemy. If you just get a hit on him. Alright. Might as well let him go up one experience level. Because, alright, he has a mace. I think it's called... I call them blunt weapons, but the game calls it a mace. Whatever. Okay, he can wipe out one of the bugs pretty easily. He'll take out the B enemy. That'll wipe out the closest enemy to us. And then she can take out the next one. The A enemy. See, down he goes. Whoop! Well, he needed 2 strikes to bring him down. I wasn't expecting that. I thought I'd bring him down the first strike. Oh well. Is he pumping his fist with his ear? Anyway. So they both got 10 skill points for that. Justin will go up in the next fight. So we'll see what happens when his skill level... He probably won't get much. Maybe his ability to attack with that weapon goes up. I don't know. I don't know if the proficiency in that weapon makes that weapon stronger when he uses it, or if it just puts him closer towards the next, skill that he learns. Remember, once he gets to level 6, he'll be halfway to learning a new skill. Level 6 with that sword, anyway. Okay, she can't wipe out these bugs, can she? That's a mana. Yes, she can't wipe out these bugs, can she? I think she can. She can. She can wipe out the first bug, and Justin can take out the second one. She can attack the first one, and Justin will take out the second one. Yeah, that'll be fine. See? She wiped them out. So we both got 10 points. Justin will go up to the next... Justin's sword level will go up to the next level. Next tier. No, you only got 5 points for that. Well, that sucks. Why did you only get 5 points? Well, that's probably because he only swung his sword once. Is that what happened? Sue struck twice, so she got 10 points. He struck once and only got 5. Is that how that works? So, yeah. That's why you do research streams. Whoop, let's get that gold. Whoop, I got ambushed, didn't I? I turned around, got distracted by the gold, now I'm ambushed. Yep. I should get to get dope music again. Okay, so who goes first? Okay, we probably cancel them. Let's see if we can cancel them. We gotta whittle them down anyway. So Sue will go first. With Puffy Kick. Who's she gonna go for? She'll go for the C. Probably doesn't need that. Yeah, she can't kill him with that. So she has to wipe out these enemies entirely. So let's see how long her wind-up is. He will use a V-slash on the C enemy. See if we can get it off. Puffy Kick will interrupt the debug and wipe him out. So he's no longer a threat. And the V-slash will take out the second guy before he can attack Sue. So both those bugs are wiped out. Of course, the centipedes got us, but, we were ambushed by a large mob, so that was bound to happen. Is there another enemy here? No, there's only 2 centipedes left. Okay. So we'll just do a regular attack and just whittle them down. Who's next? Doesn't matter. We'll just whittle them down. Can she not get to him? Is she stuck behind Justin? Okay, that was weird. I think I picked the wrong enemy, but we wiped out one of them. Look out! Ow! Okay, that was bad strategy. We should have... Well, actually, there was no way we were going to wipe out both centipedes because she was just too weak. Okay. We can kill the enemy in the next turn anyway. We'll be fine. I took a hit there. It's my turn, though. See, down he goes. So I guess Sue got a couple of hit points for that. So maybe combos are better in terms of your proficiency because you get more hits on an enemy before they're killed. Okay, so Justin's sword ability went up. You probably saw that during the fight. Hers went up too. Wasn't expecting that. And she's level 2 now. I guess that means I can save my game. So let's go back. Let me get that gold. That probably doesn't respawn, but how much gold did I get? Probably wasn't even that much either. 418, okay, whatever. I wasn't even keeping track. But we can hold down the circle button to run. Oh, there's an item here we can grab. Let me check out what items we have already. Antidote. So what do I need to do to grab this? I don't need to use this. Yeah, I don't need to use this. Don't need to use this. I don't want to discard... That's a cute icon for discarding an item. Yeah, we don't need that yet. Let me check on something. Did it show up in our inventory, though, is the question. Yep, there it is. So we're fine. We didn't have to use it. The game lets us use it right away if we need it. So we'll do a save. We'll be fine.